hysteroscopy with a diagnostic D&C. Again, if you're not sure what a D&C is, look it up. I love to give you guys abbreviations just to get you familiar with these because physicians always abbreviate as often as they can. So a D&C is a dilation and curettage. And so with that, they are extracting tissue. That's the purpose of a diagnostic dilation and curettage is they dilate the uterus and then scrape tissue. The curettage is scraping tissue or extracting that tissue. So our root operation is extraction, good job, and then extraction of what? When you get to your index and look up extraction, then you have to find your subterm for what they're extracting. They're not extracting the uterus, right? The uterus is just the location. So what are they extracting? What is the tissue inside of the uterus? This is where A&P comes in really handy with these kind of procedures. So if you guys think back to learning your anatomy and physiology, maybe even medical terminology covered this. It's called the endometrium, right? So that tissue, the inner lining, is the endometrium of the uterus. So that's what they're scraping away. That's the tissue that they're cutting from. So under extraction in our root operation, when we're looking this up in our PCS index, extraction, and then we're going to look up endometrium. I'm on page 61 in the front of your book. It gives us 0, U, D as in dog, B as in boy. So now let's flip to table 0UD. And B, once we're at that table, which is on page 617, table 0UD, B is the first row that you see, right? So our approach, we only have two choices. We have 7 or 8. So would it be via natural artificial opening or via natural artificial opening endoscopic? So go back to our scenario. There's a clue that tells us right there. Hysteroscopy, right? So anytime you know there's a scope, we have to pick, our approach has to be a scope. So hysteroscopy is that they're using a scope to do this. So our approach, good, is going to be 8, right? Via natural artificial opening endoscopic. Then our device is no. There's no choices, so we're picking Z. And what about for our qualifier? Are we going to pick X or Z? We're going to pick X for diagnostic, right? The scenario tells us hysteroscopy with diagnostic D&C, meaning they're cutting the tissue away to look at it. They want to diagnose that tissue. So we're going to pick X for diagnostic. So our code is 0UDB8